Your ideas help move this country. You are the American Innovator.
Hi everyone, Paul Akers, and welcome back to the American Innovator. I apologize for the delay in getting this particular show out to you. I know most of you are watching this on Saturday morning or even a little later, and normally we send the show out on Friday night. Well, I'm recording this pretty late on Friday night right now. I'm a little behind. I've been traveling extensively, and I just apologize for not being a little more prompt. But this might be one of the most important shows I've ever done. It might not be the most exciting show, but I think the most important, and I'll tell you why. As I have been traveling around for the last 6 weeks extensively, and I still have another month or so of intense traveling, I have visited a lot of very significant companies, organizations, and manufacturing plants around the world. And I've discussed lean with a lot of corporate leaders and a lot of people on the shop floor, all different kinds of people. Big, huge organizations, small organizations. And something has occurred to me that, frankly, is a little bit of an indictment on my leadership in terms of the people that I've worked with. And that is that as I've traveled around, I've asked people one simple question: what is lean? And I've got so many different answers, and I'm going to be honest with you, they're all wrong. I haven't got one person in the last 6 weeks who can answer the question, what is lean? And really that's a reflection of leadership, or me, the teacher, because obviously I've done a very poor job of conveying that all the people that have been listening to the show, reading the book, and so forth and so on can't answer the question, what is lean? People tell me it's about efficiency. It's about continuous improvement. It's about making things easier. It's about killing Muda. I mean, I've got so many different answers about what is lean, you can't believe it. And none of them are right. So I'm going to tell you the most important thing about lean right now. And it's so simple, it's almost unbelievable. And I'm going to tell you the story about how I learned what I'm going to tell you right now as well. But lean is simply this. It's really just two things. Lean is seeing waste. It is not killing Muda. It is not eliminating waste. It is first seeing waste. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, I'm a lean guy and, I've always been making things better and always tweaking things. I get these emails all the time from people. They say, I'm naturally lean. I've been doing that, Paul, forever, man. I'm always making things better. That is not lean. I've been doing that. That is my DNA. That's my disposition in life, is to make things better. Long before I ever learned about lean, my shop was so dialed in, you can't believe it. Most people walk and go, wow, this is incredible. I was not lean. I didn't understand what lean was because I only knew a little bit about waste. I didn't understand the laws of waste and what waste looks like. And there are 8 wastes. The first thing you do is you must see and understand the 8 wastes. And the second thing you do is you eliminate waste. You eliminate those 8 wastes. Make sure I got all the right fingers up. You eliminate the 8 wastes, which I'm going to tell you what they are in just a minute. You eliminate those through continuous improvement endlessly. So everything you do in life is a process, and you look and see the waste within the process, like me making coffee in the morning. Instead of getting a spoon out to stir the coffee, I put the milk in first, put the coffee on top, put the hot water, make my Americano, and never have to pull a spoon out, right? So I eliminated the waste of motion, transportation, over processing. You get it? So I saw the waste. I saw me running to the drawer to get the spoon, then stirring the coffee, then going over to the dishwasher, going to the sink, rinsing the spoon off, then going to the dishwasher, opening the door, putting the spoon in, closing the door, going back and enjoying my coffee, then pulling the spoon out of the dishwasher after it was clean, spending the energy and time and money to clean the spoon, and then replacing it back in the drawer. Wow! A lot of waste when all I had to do was see the waste, See the excess motion, transportation, over processing, and then eliminate that waste through small continuous improvement. That's lean. See the waste, see the 8 wastes, excuse me, 8 fingers, and then eliminate it through continuous improvement to everything endlessly forever. So that means you cannot be lean. Lean is a journey. The problem is most people don't understand what the 8 wastes are. And the big muda or the mama muda, the big muda that starts out the entire waste cycle, is when you overproduce something. When you make too much of anything, then you have to put it on the shelf as inventory. So you've overproduced, and now you've got it on the shelf as inventory. What do you got to do with that inventory? You got to manage it. You got to pay for the lighting for it. You got to pay for the insurance for it. You have to have people count it. You have to move it around. Then when you find out that it's out of date, you got to throw it out. Then you got to transport it to the dump. And it all started with overproduction. So whenever you make a batch of something or you overproduce more than what the customer wants, you guarantee you begin the waste cycle of the 8 wastes. So the first one, overproduction. The second one, inventory. So when you make inventory, you got to transport it and put it on the shelf, right? And then you find out that there's a defect within that inventory. So now you got to take that defect out, and now you've got motion because you got to remove the defects. So now there's your motion. Now you got to do the defects. You got to get rid of the defects, another waste, right? Then your customer's waiting because you overproduced in the very beginning, the first one right there. And now because your employees and your team members, they're removing the defects out of products that should have never been made because you overproduced. They're not focused on continuous improvement and adding value to the customer, but they're reworking the product. So you're wasting their potential. So the key to lean, the most important video I have ever produced is right now. Lean is seeing the 8 wastes and then eliminating it through continuous improvement endlessly, relentlessly, fanatically for the rest of your life. Your life improves. You deliver more value to the customer. Everything you do is because of the customer. You're not doing this for your health. You're not doing this to earn a paycheck. You're not doing it for any other reason but to serve the customer and maximize the value for the customer. And when you do that, everything else downstream, like profit, a good job, benefits, and all those things, they magically take care of themselves because you learn to see waste and eliminate it and not charge your customer for your ignorance, your stupidity, and everything else. Deliver greater value continuously to the customer so the value and quality of the product keeps going up, 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 up. The costs keep going down, 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 down. Your customer gets happier and happier, tells more and more people, your advertising dollars go down, your customer retention goes up. You get it? Most important video I've ever done. Lean is seeing the 8 wastes and eliminating them through relentless, fanatical, consistent, deliberate, continuous improvement to everything you do every day for the rest of your life. Now, I just realized, I do holding up the fingers. I always like to hold up the fingers when I go through overproduction, inventory, excess motion, transportation, waiting, overprocessing. I realized I forgot to say overprocessing in the first one, and then waiting, and then unused employee potential. So I apologize if I didn't say that, but overprocessing is one of them. And in this particular example that I gave you, we're overprocessing the product because it had defects, then we got to rework it. Crazy, crazy stuff. But I told you in the beginning of this video that I would tell you the story how I learned this. So I think, again, one of the most important characteristics of lean and a great lean leader is relentlessly admitting their mistakes and just how much you don't know. So I had done lean for about 5 years at FastCap, and we were doing pretty good. If you read the book, you know the story. But what happened was I was, having a hard time getting it to stick. I couldn't get everybody on board to want to learn lean. It was just me, right? So I went back to Japan after year 5, and we were touring Toyota and Lexus and all these incredible Omron and all these incredible, amazing companies in Japan that just do lean at a level so far above what I could ever even dream of. And we were riding on the bus, and Brad was in the front, and he had his microphone in his hand, and he was kind of doing a breakout session, and we were talking about what we saw and everything. And I was sitting in the very front, right? Brad was right there, and I was sitting in the very front. And I tell you a great story about that, about sitting in the front. They did all these great studies, Harvard and all these fantastic studies on why some students succeed in life and others don't, and what was the key ingredient. And after 2-3 years, millions of dollars worth of study, they found out that the 2 ingredients to being successful in school is just to show up, number 1, and sit in the front row. Imagine that. Lean's so simple. Everything in life is so simple. We overcomplicate everything, but that's another subject. So I was sitting in the front row, and maybe that's why I got it. And I was listening to Brad, and I was reflecting back on Toyota and Lexus and all the plants that we had visited, and I just began to really realize that these people were obsessed with waste. They were obsessed with it. They could see waste that I couldn't see. And I looked up at Brad, and forgive me, I know there's a whole bunch of you that are laughing right now that I would be this ignorant, but it's the truth. And I looked up at Brad and I said, this whole lean thing, it's really just about seeing waste and eliminating it through continuous improvement. It's really the ability to see the waste. And he looked at me and he goes, bingo. Problem is, most people don't see the waste. And they don't see the waste because they haven't been trained how to see the waste. Because I've done a poor job of training people, you, anybody else who's in my sphere of influence. I've done a poor job of teaching people what the 8 wastes are. So I'm becoming more and more committed now than ever before to making sure people know and understand the 8 wastes. Because once you can see those wastes, then everything changes. We recently had a tour in our facility, and the group of people that came there, we always have great people that come, and they're very interested, and they're a little bit slack-jawed, and they kind of go, wow, I don't even know where to start. And one guy said to me, it's so interesting because this is really typifies what most people do. Another big mistake is he said, can you give me examples of how to apply lean in the office? He said. And I kind of looked at him and I said, are you in the office? He said, no, we're out on the shop floor. Why do you want to know about how to do lean in the office? I'm being a little funny here. And he said, well, the office really needs us a lot. I said, oh, forget about the office. You and I have enough waste in our lives for 10 lifetimes. You never need to go up to anybody, your wife, your dog, your hamster, anybody, and say, wow, you're really wasteful. You got plenty of waste with you and with me. If you do nothing in life but learn to see the 8 wastes and relentlessly, fanatically, consistently eliminate that waste in you will be so successful you will not know what hit you. That's it for the American Innovator. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
The American Innovator has been brought to you by FastCap. To hear more, just go to theamericaninnovator.com.